Going to interrupt you because we have Congressman Adriano Espaillat on with us now. He's live. Congressman Espaillat, thank you very much for joining us. A day that began, of course, with thousands of President Trump supporters in Washington turned violent, and as many, of course, tried to storm the Capitol building where you were. Tell us about how it all unfolded. What did you see? What happened exactly?
Well, from the very beginning of the day, we saw people gathering, and unfortunately, not enough security around. But as the debate began on the process to validate the results of the Electoral College, the Trump protesters chose to interrupt the process and storm the Capitol building. And so we're here. The process will continue. This is a nation of laws with strong democratic institutions, and we will proceed with the process, and we will have a result and inauguration on January 20th.
When do you expect to continue with the process? Can you tell us about the current? I know you may not be there because a lot of Congress members were moved, I understand, from outside the building. I know you can't tell us where you are exactly because you were moved to safety.
Well, I'm in my office.
Oh,
I've
you
been
are?
in my
Okay,
office
great.
for long, and I haven't moved from here, and I plan to stay here until necessary, until we are told that we will proceed. We will not be bullied nor intimidated by folks that refuse to accept the reality of what has occurred electorally in our nation.
Yeah, so just to confirm once again, Congressman, you are inside the Capitol Hill building right now.
I'm inside the Capitol, my Capitol office in one of the buildings, the legislative buildings. That's correct.
Are you aware of whether the situation is under control in the rest of the buildings there, whether President Trump supporters have been moved out of the building?
Riot police have been deployed. The FBI has been deployed in Capitol grounds, and I'm beginning to see disbursement of the folks that were out there, but there's still plenty of them. So I suspect that it will be a while before they're completely dispersed, and we'll be able to proceed with our proceedings.
Do lawmakers want to continue with the proceedings today, given what's unfolded, given the chaos we've seen? I mean, I wonder what the mood is like and what the atmosphere is like, what the feeling is like amongst your colleagues.
I think there's a greater resolve now more than ever to proceed with our constitutional duties as lawmakers, to abide by the rules established within the Constitution of the United States, and to protect and preserve our nation from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And many of the ones that showed up at the Capitol today were enemies of our democracy. We are supportive of democracy. We are supporters of dissent and protest, but we don't support violence. We don't support vandalism. We don't support assault or intimidation. And so we will proceed, and we will count those votes.
What this certainly has once again exposed, Congressman, is the deep divisions that exist in America today. And I wonder whether what we've seen is also reflective. I mean, the political divisions we've seen amongst Republicans and Democrats, Republicans who have supported the president and so on, is what has unfolded today ultimately to blame on politicians such as yourself?
Well, I don't think that the folks that came here today are a reflection of the vast majority of the American people. I think that they are a small group, a small fringe group, violent, intolerant, perhaps racist at their core, that refused to accept the reality that manifested itself last night in the state of Georgia, or last November
But a
across
group,
these
but a
United
group that
States.
has been,
But I don't
but a
believe
group that has
they
been
are a
supported by the
reflection
Republican president of the United States and a number, it would seem, of your Republican colleagues in Congress.
Well, I agree that the president played a role and a part in egging folks to come forward, inciting them to move forward with this violence. And I agree that there's a number of legislators that are also involved in that. But I don't think that those folks that were out there in front of the Capitol are reflective of the average American across the country. I think the average American across the country is looking at this episode as a dark and unfortunate period in our history.
When do you expect, Congressman, to resume the certification of the election results? And, you know, from now until January 20th, when the inauguration is supposed to be taking place, what do you think the priority should be now? What is the priority for you as a lawmaker?
Well, certainly as quickly as possible, if not tonight, tomorrow. But I feel very strongly that we should not leave town to our respective districts without completing the rest of the work. I think it is imperative and important that we show the world and we show the American people that the United States is still a beacon of democracy and opportunity for all.
Congressman Espaillat, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. Congressman Espaillat was talking to us there from inside the Capitol building, from his office inside the Capitol building, where earlier today President Trump's supporters stormed the building